Joining us today is another director who's part of Northwest Fest. It's Nefise Özkal Lorentzen, writer-director of Seyran Ateş, Sex Revolution in Islam. It's part of Global Vision's series of films. It's presented by Real Talk with Ryan Jesperson. And you can stream this film until May 16th at northwestfest.ca. Nefise, can you let the audience know about how this documentary grew from an idea you had to do a project about female imams that evolved by chance from an article that your mother had given you about Saran?
Of course. Yeah, first I should say thank you, Mother, being, very kind to me and giving this article to me. But behind that, since 9/11, I had been working on this issue, Islam and gender. And so after 9/11, I could say I was almost on the way to leave my faith, and I didn't do it, thanks God. And I first made a film which is called Gender Me. It was about Islam and homosexuality, finished 2008. And then I did a Balloon for Allah. It was about Islam and feminism, 2011. And then 2014, I finished the last film in trilogy, which is called Man Islam. It was about Islam and masculinity. And I traveled several countries like Turkey, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Kuwait, Pakistan, and also Norway. And met fantastic men who have been fighting for the rights of women and children. So I thought that, I was kind of finished with Islam and I was going to do some other things. And I have discovered the female imams in China. So they existed in the last 300 years. And I was actually planning to make a film about, the female imams in general all around the world. And I had contacted several of them. And then my mother gave me this article about Seyran Ateş, and I decided, yeah, Seyran is the one. So I'm going to make a portrait film. And actually, I had been working in this film business since 25 years, I can say. And I haven't done any portrait films, always like documentary films with, controversial topics. So this is a controversial topic, so I'm following my pattern, but this is my first actually portrait film, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, and I mean, for people that are going to watch this, it's plainly obvious as to why you would want to follow Saran's life. So for those of us that, maybe haven't seen it yet and they're looking to get some context of it, let's dig a little bit deeper into what it was about her life and her life's mission that kind of inspired you to give this portrait of Saran.
Seyran's mission is to really make a revolution within Islam. And not just like a revolution, it is a sexual revolution. And I found it very courageous. And I really found her way of describing her mission is very clear. She doesn't make, half sentences. It is your fault, our fault type of thing. She doesn't have any excuses. She wants a sexual revolution. And I decided to follow this very courageous woman and see how she was. And I should also say that I'm an independent filmmaker, so I do not really belong to any TV stations. I mean, nobody, gives me the money saying that do as I want type of thing. So actually, I really look my subjects, the storytellers, and when I really trust them, I, go 100% with them. And I really trusted Seyran, and I really trusted her way of being a leader. And I really wanted to show to the world, yes, we need a change. I mean, when we say sexual revolution, it is not only like, it's not like you can make sex with anyone type of thing, but it is just like we have to, talk about sex. We have to talk about gender and how we are, what type of genders we have who are in the decision-making roles. And when they are coming to this decision-making roles and how they are behaving. So I was also, in a way, analyzing, looking at Seyran, scanning her way of being a leader, And I found it very empathic, very inclusive, and she is listening her congregation. And I think it is so important that the world will know about her.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the positivity that she imbues and that she tries to spread, not just in her own community, but across the world. But the opening of this film, we have a black screen, right? Saran is reading all these kind of vile insults and threats, and then it cuts to a shot of Saran's cat that kind of gives us the sense of what this film is attempting to achieve in this kind of tonal balance. So among all this hate from extremist religious groups and individuals and fatwas and actual real attempts on her life, you are showing how Saran processes all this and how the film will embody this attitude that Saran has been able to adopt to keep moving forward. So talk to us a little bit about that balance you struck tonally in the film, Seyran Ateş, Sex, Revolution, and Islam, between the message and the hate.
I think you really got my way of telling the story. And the cat is so important. Because, it wasn't just coincidence we put the cat there, because, it's just this cat energy. The cat sees you, and cat, in a way, cat knows where the danger is, right? Cat is not, cat is observing. And this is like, Seyran is like her cat. She is observing. She sees, okay, this is all these trolls, sending the messages and everything. And it's also important to say to our audience that Seyran is highly protected. German state is protecting her. So when we are talking about Seyran and the bodyguards, so it is not like Seyran as an individual paying, the bodyguards. Her bodyguards are policemen, and they are protecting her. And it is the German state, because they know we need Seyran's voice. Otherwise, we will lack something in the society. So in that sense, thank you for your observation about the cat. And to me, this is one part of my hidden dramaturgy, because we should learn from the cat. We can know where the enemy is. When you know where the enemy is, sometimes you have to stare your enemy. And you have to say to your enemy, I know you, but you can maybe you want to do some harm to me, but I'm also powerful. So this is the message that actually Seyran tells to her enemies. And she is not responding with bitterness or being coward and such things. Besides that, these men, mostly men and women probably, who are writing all these, blackmail to her and all these messages with, whore and all this stuff, they don't have the language. They sound very illiterate. And at the same time, they are very covered. They don't even use their name. And what they are interested in, the genitals, and they are using some words which just like, didn't you have better sentence, Listen? It's yeah.
Well, and for anybody that's kind of, not sure as to what exactly is the point of contention, that why is she getting this incredible amount of anger, this level of threat, that her life needs to be protected. Let's just kind of clarify that a little bit for the audience as to what is it about Seyran Ateş that is making her such an incredibly polarizing figure. Is it just the fact that she's a woman? Is it the fact that she has opened up her own empowerment to kind of be an imam as just being a woman? Right? What is it exactly that is making her such a polarizing figure that for us maybe is difficult to understand?
So, yeah, I can say Seyran has been protected by policemen for many years. It's not only because she opened the mosque, because she worked as a lawyer, and she was really fighting for the rights of immigrant women, especially fighting for the children's rights. Some immigrant families, they were bringing child brides from Turkey, Kurdistan, or other Arabic countries. So Seyran really prevented that they can do this type of tradition in Germany, and she changed the laws. So basically, since she was like 21-year-old law student, she was working, she was fighting against patriarchy. So I think that is the reason the communities which praise patriarchy didn't want to have Seyran. And they, try to do anything and everything to get rid of her, and they couldn't manage, thanks God. And Seyran was shot when she was 21-year-old law student, from her neck, 3 places, and it's a miracle how she survived.
As much as we can admire an individual like Saran and her life's mission from afar, when we see their story that you presented to us and her life kind of neatly packaged into a film like this, it's an entirely different thing to live through it with them, as you did as a filmmaker. So what are some experiences that you took from making this film with Saran that has impacted you in a way that will inform your filmmaking in the future?
That's a very difficult question. The thing is just like, when I decide to work in a topic, when I decide to follow a subject, a storyteller, and then I suddenly find myself in a kind of river. It's just like I flow with them. So, and then I always, when I really in the mood of flowing, which means that I have total trust. So I never feel, it's just like, I flow with Seyran. I flow with the story, and I actually, trust in my senses. So when I finish the film, and I have experienced many things in this project, and I sometimes say, oh my God, how did I do it? Didn't I think? It's just like, yeah, it's very interesting, because when you really trust your inner self, so everything goes well. But if you do not trust yourself, so you experience many hinders. I mean, it doesn't mean that I didn't experience hinders. I have had many hinders in this project, but in a way, I felt like I was in a flow.
Our guest has been Nefise Özkal Lorentzen, writer and director of the film Seyran Ateş, Sex Revolution in Islam. It's part of Global Vision's series of films, and that's presented by Real Talk with Ryan Jesperson. You can stream this film and so many others until May 16th at northwestfest.ca. Nefise, thank you so much for this film. It is incredibly important. And I feel like people that maybe have a lot of misunderstandings about whether it is a global sense of what religion is, and maybe those roles of gender, even if you don't necessarily subscribe to any kind of religion specifically, it's really quite eye-opening as to how limited some people's views are and how incredibly expansive others are that we can see within that frame. So I appreciate the film and appreciate your work.
Oh, thank you so much. It means a lot to me, and I will bring all your words to my crew. It means a lot. Thank you so much.